tired of killing monsters. Now I hunt the hunters. I'm not a fan of drawn-out dramatics, so I'll just come right out with it. I'm a monster hunter. At least, this is my title on paper. But technically, former monster hunter. Many consider what I do to be the dream, a fantasy many a badass would unapologetically kill to have fulfilled in their lifetimes. I've witnessed many monsters, and I've in fact killed many more in number than even the ones I've seen. If you have a method true enough, consistent enough, it becomes like clockwork. And therein lies the problem. Once you know the method, once there's nothing to improve upon, and there's no more excitement. Monsters are very predictable, and they all have limited environmental and resource capabilities. When everything's all said and done, it makes for a very repetitive experience that rarely changes. And that's what I hate about it. There is no experience, no satisfaction, no room to grow. When I initially realized this, I felt like a cornered dog. Is this where I cap out? Am I destined to be stunted here, where I am forever? I thought to myself at the time. One day I was contracted to deal with a pack of werewolves by a client whose name and identifying details I will not be disclosing. The werewolves were an inconvenience to the client landowner and needed to be either relocated or disposed of. The agency I worked for leaves us full discretion of how contracts are handled, with little concern to the ethicality of how we go about fulfilling what is asked of us. I was joined by a partner who specialized in relocation and transportation of mammalian entities. I will also not be disclosing the name of my former partner. It was to be a very standard procedure. We were to round the formerly people, now turned wolf, into the back of a horse trailer and relocate them into a new forest. The wolves, though unwilling at first, would end up complying of their own will. They might have half wolf brains, but their human half isn't stupid enough to actually think they could take on two hunters, even as a pack. Just as expected, while hesitant, they did comply. The werewolves were loaded into the horse trailer with very little difficulty. Nothing event-worthy whatsoever. We started the drive to the relocation site. Road hypnosis set in and my mind became adrift. Started thinking about how expected this all was, and how expected the next job would also be, whatever it may be. It filled me with dread. I sat in silence with my own thoughts while I drove down the twisting road before me. Thought of ending it all, right then and there, just flipping the vehicle over to the side of the road, taking everyone out with me. At least that would be exciting. Exciting. It finally hit me. The answer to my problem. How to make things exciting again. Thought to myself, I know how the werewolves would react to such an incident. But what I didn't know was how my partner would react. After all, hunters are taught to predict the moves of monsters. But what would happen if hunters set their sights on other hunters? How would a hunter adapt to the will of another hunter in conflict with their own? And how would a hunter adapt in a situation completely unexpected? This prospect was exciting. I now understood. I could artificially create my own scenarios and find that gratifying excitement I'd lost. Without hesitation, I flipped the car at the next turn, turning the wheel far further and harder than than reasonably expected, leaving my fate up to pure chance. If I die here, then it's how it will be, I thought to myself, but my goal isn't to die, it's to kill my partner. With the same swift momentum I used to spin the wheel, I motioned to unsheath my knife. Mid-flip, I was to unsheath it and be sure that my partner was to land on it somehow during the crash. I could blame the crash on the rowdiness of the wolves, and who's to say my knife hadn't cut through the sheath that it was holding it under the full pressure of the body on top of it. The excitement, I could feel it. What could this hunter think during their final moments? What would run through their mind? The action, it only lasted a few seconds. During the flip, I managed to do what I'd set out to do. The hunter successfully landed on my knife. I yanked it out unceremoniously, ignoring the hunter's reflex to try and stop my hand. The hunter bled out, one hand over the wound, one beckoning me for aid, slowly falling to their side. I had done what I felt I needed.